Let's go to the story of a woman who came terrifyingly close to being crushed to death in the Christchurch earthquake in 2011. She says it's murderously cavalier for Wellington's council not to cordon off weak or vulnerable buildings. There are 4 buildings in Wellington, 2 of which are in the CBD, that are red-stickered because strengthening has not been done within a council allocated time frame. Jacob McSweeney looks at this.
The Two Myths building and the Abermail Hotel are 2 of Wellington's 4 red-stickered buildings, with warnings not to approach, but with no cordon. People walk and drive past regularly, especially during peak times. Anne Bauer says it was one of those buildings that fell and destroyed a bus she was travelling on in 2011 and killed every passenger apart from herself and one other who was paralysed.
These people had nothing to do with the buildings that crushed them. They weren't inside. They hadn't taken the choice to go inside. They hadn't signed an implied contract of going inside a building. They were just walking or driving past. So Christchurch made some pretty serious mistakes in getting back to business as usual too quickly after September.
She says Wellington's council must stop people being anywhere near the Two Myths and Abermail buildings.
City Council has much more of a duty of care to the passers-by than to the occupants of a building. I would think that it's a fairly severe dereliction of duties to not close off the street if they know the building to be dangerous, especially after Christchurch.
Iona Pennant is the council's portfolio leader of infrastructure and sustainability. She says the owners of the Two Myths building have not been in communication with the council, but she understands the building is safe for people to walk in front of. She says the red sticker is there to show strengthening hasn't been done in time.
It's because we set deadlines, basically, so that you say that you do them, and then people haven't been able to come to a solution. That doesn't mean that it is inherently a more dangerous building. So it just really does depend on the kind of quake and where it is.
All 4 of Wellington's red-stickered buildings are City Council heritage classified. Iona Pennant says that poses challenges to the owners as upgrades are complicated and expensive.
People do see that these buildings have economic value. They want to do business in them, they want to live in them. So some owners may be dragging their feet, but some people will be facing affordability issues, which is why central government needs to come to the party and look at how they can support building owners further, and the council needs to do more as well.
Walking past the building earlier today, painter Bruce Gallagher says it's time the city did away with heritage buildings and prioritised safety.
The historical trust of it all, to replace a facade like that again is just here with all the new facade and that on there. Look at the work they've had to do to strengthen that, but you still have old concrete out there. It's old, it's wearing out, it doesn't have technology like we have today. It's just sometimes we've got to get rid of history and make new history. And that's what's happening in Christchurch. It's going to be a whole new history down there.
Next door to the Two Myths building, Christopher Brown is the managing director of public relations agency Sputnik. He says he regularly walks past the red sticker despite it saying do not approach.
If they think that, why do they let people approach it? But I don't. I'm quite comfortable approaching it and we've had big earthquakes here. And I think if anything's going to fall off, it would have already fallen off. It doesn't have anything overhanging sidewalk, so I feel comfortable approaching it.
The owner-operator of the fishing store on the other side of the Two Myths building, Steve Reid, says the building is an eyesore and it is a disaster waiting to happen.
No, I don't think it's a great thing to be there at all by any stretch of the imagination. I think the sooner they resolve it, but unfortunately there seems to be no pressure for it because, yeah, it will be a safety concern at some stage, and unfortunately does someone have to get injured before they do something about it, because at the moment they're doing nothing about it and haven't done for quite some time.
Steve Reid says earthquake-prone buildings cannot be left untouched for several years, and council should be putting pressure on owners to get strengthening done. For Checkpoint, Jacob McSweeney, Tēnei.